If God exists, then why do bad things happen? I was asked this question a couple of times during my, coaching sessions. And at first I was a bit like, wait, you're right. Why do bad things, I actually had to sit and think about it, because I was like, yeah, why do kids go through such torture and pain? And why is there so much suffering in the world? And again, what I'm going to say in this video is just my knowing inside, and you might not agree with it, and that's okay, but it's just my opinion. I had to do a lot of research, not just, from what I'm noticing and what I'm hearing people talk about, but also do some research within myself and see, what does my soul know about this question that we all ask ourselves, and we're really trying to figure out, why is there so much suffering and pain in the world when we have God that is apparently meant to protect us and keep us safe and love us unconditionally and remove the pain and suffering? Like, where is that God that we're talking about? I love watching and hearing about NDEs, which are near-death experiences, which is basically where a person is about to pass away and that soul comes out of their body, and they have an experience with God and their loved ones, and so on and so forth. So there was one that I recently saw that was really interesting. And she basically was speaking about her experience. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a very long story. But basically, she was somebody who was brought up in church, going to church, and she was a Christian, I believe. And she was abused as a child sexually when she was about 3 to 7, something along those lines, for a long time when she was a child, which is something that nobody and no child should ever go through. She also had a lot of medical issues. She lost a son or daughter, I believe, and so she had a lot of suffering in this lifetime. And so one of the questions she always used to ask God, which was, why is there so much pain in the world when you exist? Like, where is your grace and where is your protection and all these kind of things? And so what happened is that in her experience, she ended up meeting God, and she had this whole amazing conversation. And again, when you pass away, when you're a soul, there's no talking anymore. It's insane to me, because I'm like, I'm always using my voice, but apparently you don't talk when you're in heaven and up there. So there's there's only telepathic, is that what you call it? Yeah, telepathic communication. So as soon as you ask a question, boom, you get a download. And again, you don't have to believe any of the things I'm saying. I want you to be a skeptic. I want you to do your own research and figure this shit out yourself. I don't want you to be like, really? Is that, like, I'm not here to tell you what the truth is. I want you to figure it out yourself. So do the research, be open, talk to the universe, God, whatever it is, and connect and find these answers for yourself, okay? Because I had to have my own relationship with God. Another thing that happens when you go through an NDE is that as soon as you're there, your soul moves up there into the next realm. It's like, everything. Like, you have all of the answers. You're not going to go to somebody like, hey, can you tell me all over again? Who's God? What are we doing? Like, you don't ask any questions anymore, because it's like, you just know. You get all these downloads in your mind, and it's like, it's an instant download. So as she had so much suffering in the world, she went to ask God basically about, why is there so much suffering? But what came out of her mouth is, oh my God, why didn't I do more for you? And she totally changed it. Being in front of God totally changed her perception on her trauma and all of the suffering that she went through. And again, it's a very long story, and you really need to listen to it to understand it. What she learned in that NDE is that when God created us, he also created free will for us human beings. And so she was confused at the age of 3. Why was she get abused? And what she learned through that NDE is that God obviously created all of us, but he also created and he also gave us a gift of free will. Okay? And so a lot of the times we blame God for the atrocities that happen in the world and the suffering and the pain that we go through, but then we fail to recognize that the person that is doing these atrocities is a human being. It's not God. And if God was there to punish these people or remove that pain, then he is going against the very rule that he created, which is free will. And if he was doing that as well as he's just using them as puppets, basically. It's like it defeats the whole purpose of us being here, which is to learn about love and compassion and forgiveness. And another thing that, I learned through watching these NDEs is we all have something called a life review. So let's say that I cause someone pain. Maybe I bullied somebody in school. And so what happens is when I die, I feel the same amount of pain and suffering that that person has felt. And so there's no form of judgment from a God that we all think and we keep on hearing this, but it's really about you, your own God. Like you're judging, not even judging, but you're seeing the pain that you put the other person through, and that is how your soul grows and learns not to do that. At least that's what we would hope for, that you don't do it in your next reincarnation. A lot of souls don't learn, right? They just keep coming back over and over and over again, and they end up in a place they don't really want to be. And the reason I brought this up is because I was watching this dating show where this man, he lost his wife. I believe she got a tumor when their daughter was really young, like 3 or 4, and she passed away. And so on the date, he was telling that the girl, the woman that he was on a date with, is like, how could God, if God was so kind and generous, why would God do that to my little child? Like, why would he do that? And I felt his pain because he really was talking from pain. These are questions that we all have, and it's totally normal to have. I want you to question what the hell I'm saying. I want you to be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, no. And I want you to be open to understanding instead of just judging, passing judgment based on no facts, just based on prejudice. And I invite you to just open up a little bit, and you don't have to agree with what people are saying to you, because I feel like at the end of it, your soul it knows what feels right to you and what doesn't. So always follow that. Don't ever follow what I'm saying or anybody else is saying. Follow what you feel inside. But in order to do that, you have to get out of your own way, and you have to remove the mask and the fear that you're holding inside. I want you to truly see the world with love. And that's a very difficult task. I get it. And also another thing to realize is that our souls came here onto this planet Earth in order to learn a specific curriculum. When you go to university or college, you choose a major. I'm going to major in science and biology or whatever the hell is out there. And that is what your soul decided to do. And I also heard that sometimes people, let's say for me, oh my God, I don't know if I want to use myself, but let's just say there's a soul that comes into this world, and in their last lifetime, they dealt with a lot of loss. A lot of people around them, maybe their mother died, and then their husband died, and then the child died, and there was just a lot of grief and pain in their life. And so what happens then is that soul wants to learn a different set of skills, a different curriculum. So what they do is they choose a life maybe where they're struggling with money. And then they try to figure out how to make money, how to create abundance by creating or by using their talents and gifts and being more confident in themselves. Okay, so everybody has chosen a curriculum. When you think about it that way, you're like, that makes so much sense. And this earthly experience is really just about us playing our rules. We literally are in our own movies. And also when you die, we always think of death being this horrible, horrific, pain and suffering and all this stuff, which it could happen. But when you really listen to people that have gone through it, and they're like, there was this lady that had all these tumors all over her neck. She's really popular now, but she had all of these tumors and she had a near-death experience. And as soon as she came back, literally, it was, no doctors could understand or could explain it, which is where I always feel like science is great, but sometimes you just can't explain shit. Like, you just can't. There's no explanation for some things in life. And so as soon as she was back, all of her tumors went away. The cancer went away. She, the visions that she had, that this is going to be your life and this is what you need to do. This is your purpose. You need to go ahead and speak about your experience. And that was the vision that she had as she had those tumors in her neck. And then she comes back, and that's literally what happens. Back to my main point, I really want you to figure out what you think about God, what you think about free will, and how are you using your free will? Because sometimes we don't understand the difference between free will and God's will. It's important to understand the difference because a lot of us are choosing free will. We're doing whatever the hell we want. We have zero care in the world for anybody else other than ourselves. And then we think that's going to bring us happiness and success and peace and, but it really doesn't. Happiness and joy and success is all about sharing the love and joy with the world. Anywho's, I'm done preaching for today. Thank you so much for watching and spending your precious time with me. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making lots of videos like this, so keep on following. Also, if you have something specific that you want me to talk about, let me know down below. And if you're somebody who is at crossroads in your life right now and you know that staying the same is going to cost you, then I urge you to book a one-on-one session with me. The link is going to be in the description below or in my bio. I wish you guys all the love, happiness, joy, prosperity, and I'll see you guys in the next one.